So this is a video showing how to set up a class online using meetings in Teams. So I'm on Teams now here on my Mac, and I'm in the general channel for a test class team. Okay, and I've decided that I've informed my students I'm going to have a meeting now. So when I go to meet, I have two choices. I can schedule one at a later date, but I've decided that I'm going to meet now. So everyone who's a member of that test class group is going to get a notification. First thing that comes up is I have a meeting, you have a name for it. Okay, so I'm just going to call it, let's say, online class. This is what the students are going to see. I've got my speakers down low because I don't want to have, we're going to have a number of different devices all beside each other on, so I'm just trying to keep the noise level as low as possible so they don't feedback. But anyway, normally you'd have your speakers fully up, and you'd have your computer audio, so your mic and your speakers interior. You're not going to use other devices, and obviously have your camera turned off so the students can't see you from a child protection point of view. But also you want to make sure that you can show them whatever you're working on your computer. So all the resources they're going to work on, either you're going to have distributed to them through the likes of OneNote, or you're going to show them on the screen for discussion during class. So we're going to join our class now, and first it just checks that my microphone is working and everything, and then it starts my class. So all of the people who are members of this group, I'm now waiting for those people to come and join. The meeting is now already started, and I'm waiting for them to come and join. So what will happen is the contestants, or the people who are eligible to join the meeting, they will join one at a time. Let's just check. So we see that there's one person there has already joined. Okay, that person's called test 1. And then there's another person who's looking to join now, and there comes test 2. Now when they arrive to the meeting, by default their microphones are turned off. You obviously don't want too much clutter when the meeting actually happens. Now those people, when they come to the meeting, they can turn on the microphones if they like. So we can see this one here, test 1 has turned the microphone on, and we can see that there. So I have participants highlighted. As the meeting goes on, I might decide that I want to have a list of people, and we notice now mute all has come up beside presenters. So that means that if there's too many people talking, or I can't hear what people are saying, I might want to mute all of the people who are attending. And you can obviously see here that any people who are speaking, their icon becomes active, and you'll see that here. Okay, that so I know if I hear somebody speaking, I don't know who it is, I can look here and it will inform me who is the person that's been speaking. So I'm going to mute all now, because I don't want them talking while I'm talking, and I go and I do my lecture. One thing to make sure that we set up the meeting right, I might want to download the attendance list. So what this will do is create a simple Excel file that will tell me all of the people who've come to the meeting. So back to this here. So in the meeting itself, I now want to share my screen so that people can see my computer screen. Now I can share anything in particular that I have been working on. I could have a whiteboard where I can kind of draw using my stylus if I like, but I'm going to share my desktops, everything that I'm working on. So you can see my desktop now. That desktop's got a red ring around it, and that tells us that everything that is on this screen, except for this online class bit here, everything that's there is being shown to the kids. So I'll bring up let's say a file that I've been working on. Here's an exercise. I can talk through the exercise. All the students can see what it is that I'm working on. And if the students decide to comment, so if I go back to this, the students decide to comment, they can unmute themselves. Okay, so all the students at the moment are muted. Okay, I don't need to worry about muting them. But if a student wants to actually say something, okay, the student, so in this case test 2, has they've said something, and I can then go and have a listen to it and see how they're getting on. I can answer there. Once I'm finished talking to them, then I can mute them. Another thing that a student can do, if the student wants to participate in the class, they can raise their hand. Okay, so in this case, I've got one person, test 1, they've raised their hand. So I'm talking away and they're waiting for me to finish what I'm talking about, and they want to be able to ask a question. So I can then go and I can lower the hand and I can go and talk to this person, and I can ask this person, will you unmute yourself, and then ask the question to the class. So that's how that works. Now, it's important that when you're doing this, when you're setting up your meeting, it's important that up here in meeting options, at the very beginning, before people start coming, just make sure that who can present, only me. If I allow everyone to present, what it means is the people who can present can go and delete other people from the meeting. So if I look at the participants that I have in my meeting and see what I can do, I can make somebody a presenter. So if a student says, look, I want to show you some work that I've done, I want to show the rest of the class, then they can become a presenter temporarily. I control this, and they can show their work, so they can then go and screen share their work. If somebody is making too much noise, obviously I can mute them if they're starting to talk, but if they start messing in the class, I can remove them from the meeting, and that means that then they can rejoin the meeting, but they'll have to ask me for permission to rejoin. But I can remove them if they're starting to cause grief in the class. So that's powerful, and the only way you can do that, you have that level of control, is if you make sure that the only person who is a presenter is yourself. All the students are attendees. Otherwise, the students will be able to mute each other, and the students will be able to remove their teacher from the class. So that's kind of important. So now when we're going to finish our meeting, what I need to do is make sure, and also just another thing in terms of more actions here, I can record it if I like, and when it's finished it will be saved in my downloads, and I can then put it into my OneDrive and share it with the students. I do that from a child protection point of view, but it also means that somebody who missed the meeting can actually hear what was actually discussed. You can give it to them later. But when the meeting is over, you don't click leave, because if you click leave, that means you leave the meeting, but it continues operating and the other students can continue working. So what you do is you make sure, don't click leave, click end meeting. And when I end the meeting, it means everyone else, all the students now, the meeting ends for them as well. I hope you find that useful as just an explanation on how setting up a class using Teams might work.